Okay. Went away. Thank you, Twitch. Okay, well, I'll record this for the benefit of the video. But basically, the Halma variant has a cab at the front and a huge chassis at the back, which can carry things like spreader tanks and what have you. One of the things it can carry is a auger attachment, which I believe can be used for root crops. Maybe we'll look into that sometime. And Hail Team, thanks for the subscription. Did I lift that? No, I didn't. Okay. Now, for Farm Sim 17, it was actually part of the in-game equipment, because primarily it's used on root crops. For 19, it was one of the Giants mods that was released after the main game in order for them to have stuff to test the mod hub with and make sure that was all working and everybody could download the mod. So, and that's typical every year of Giants. Some of the equipment from the previous game is not available, but is released as a mod pack during the second weeks. And you could say, well, they could have included it in the game, but they need to test all of it, and so testing the mod hub is one way to introduce the extra equipment that could have been in the game. So for Farm Sim 19, the Big Bud tractors were mods. Estancia Apache was a mod. We got Felsbrunn and Ravenport as the in-game maps, but the first week after release we got Estancia Apache as well. So it just gives them a chance to test the mod hub before modders start submitting dozens of mods and potentially overloading things. They're controlling what's available in order to iron out any problems they may or may not come across. Since I am planning root crops, I might look at the Homer variant or Terra variant system and see if we want to include it, because it does include a good sized tractor. I think it's in the 535 horsepower range, 3-point rear hitch, so it can be used for standard farming tractor stuff as well as being a field sprayer and what have you. Maybe an option to, because I'm thinking getting I'm torn whether to get a self-propelled sprayer or not at some point, and lose the sort of the tractor-mounted spray that we have. But we'll think about it. For right now, we don't have the money, so it's not a pressing need. It's a little bit wider than my cultivator, isn't it? Yeah. It's slightly annoying, but oh well. Okay, the clouds, or the sky is getting to the point where I can't see, so we're getting close to 5 PM in game time. I don't know if we have enough time to do the other field, especially not since it's pending rain. I may just finish this one off. We'll cultivate the other one as soon as the ground dries out, and then bring out the cedar. Okay. Yes, it's why I usually just go straight with the tractor hauled equipment, unless I am seriously into root crops on a farm. Paying 500,000 for a harvester is quite a steep startup cost. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to make that money back on selling your beets, it's just that you're going to need a lot of beets. But a big field will produce a lot of beets, so it's just the problem with hauling them all everywhere. That's it can be a problem. I remember the first time I did beets was on Goldcrest Farm on Farm Sim 17, and I harvested an entire field, and it was over 500,000 litres of product, which I loaded onto the train, and I was just pulling away from the train depot, and the game crashed. And the last save I'd done was halfway through harvesting the field, so I had to go back and reharvest that half of the field again, and then reloaded the train and sold all the beets. And beets are aggregate worth more than other crops, but you have to put in a lot more time and effort to get them harvested. At the end of the day, per acre, or no, sorry, per litre, soybeans are worth the most money. But per acre, you harvest fewer soybeans than you do any other crop. So, it's kind of a hit or miss thing. You've still got the variations in crop pricing when it comes to sell. So you always want to sell when the crop is at its at least close to its highest value as possible, and you'll make a good return on the crop. But soybeans doesn't make, for the most part, any more money than wheat does. But did I get all those little bits? I must have got all those little bits. Oh, here we go. So coming up to 5 o'clock, I'm going to head back to the yard, I think, with this. So, breaking train of thought, squirrel. We're looking at approximately the same amount of money per acre. It's just that if you're doing soybeans, it takes, because they are a higher value for less crop, you end up with less money, the same amount of money, but you don't have to empty the harvester as... Seriously, this is getting annoying. Oops. So yeah, you don't have to empty the harvester quite so often, and you don't have to make as many trips to the store in order to sell the crop. So that's the benefit of soybeans. But it's not so realistic for your farm to be using, just planting soybeans. I mean, from what I've seen of most farmers, they tend to switch between two crops. Okay. There we go. I just emptied that diesel barrel. The tractor is now full, so it'll be ready to go tomorrow. But then, from that mine,